Hello, everyone. I have a question for you. What's your end game in life? When you're in school and they ask you what you want to be when you grow up, you always have an answer. Then the older you get, the harder it is to answer that question. Why is that? How come when we leave for college we're so set on what we want to be, but by the time we're done, we just don't know anymore? Of course, I'm speaking through, I guess I'm speaking vicariously through those who have gone to college because I chose not to take on a profession because I knew that if I did, I wouldn't be happy with it. I'm a carpenter by trade, but I didn't go to school for it. So why is it that we move forward, yet it's never quite what we wanted? And we'll fool ourselves over and over and over. Say, yeah, I'm doing okay. Oh, I'm happy all the time. And you know what? I am happy all the time. But it doesn't mean that I'm unaware of the hardships in life. And it doesn't mean that I'm unaware that there's an end game for all of us. And I think it's a question we fail to ask ourselves. A lot of people might say, well, I just want to work hard and make a lot of money and then retire. Why are you looking ahead 20, 30 years? Or less for those of you who are older, but you get the gist of it. I hear people talking about retirement when they're getting out of college. It's like, that's fine and dandy. I guess that's what the responsible thing that our society tells us to do. It's not for me. I don't think you can really plan for anything. Because every day is a new journey, a new path. You might save $1 million for retirement, and then when you're 61, realize that money means nothing to you. Of course, $1 million would barely keep you fed and alive for the rest of your life if you're old these days, with inflation rates and everything, but what is the end game? I mean, retirement's not an end game. It's an event. It's a threshold, a new beginning. Money is not an end game. Although for some people it seems to be a driving force. But once attained, it seldom fills the void. So what, then I ask you, what is the driving force for people? For a lot it's religion. For a lot of people they say when I die I'm going to go to heaven, it's going to be great, I'm going to see my family and friends. Or when I die I'm going to be reincarnated, maybe start this over. I think for a lot of materialists it may be excitement of just taking as much as they can in this world and then getting out. I think that's why there's a gripe between religion and atheism so much, is because, a lot of folks who hold on to another life afterward tend to think that other people who don't can't live properly in this world, which is just preposterous. It's not true. We all live here together, but I don't think we ever ask ourselves, what do you want to do with your life? I mean, we're asked that in school. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do? And people just take that to mean, well, I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that. Nobody ever just says, I'm going to be happy. But we all deserve to be happy. In fact, we all deserve to be happy all the time, with a few exceptions of misery, so we can get some perspective on what it really means to be happy. I mean, no one's going to be hunky-dory all the time. That's not productive. That's where I derived my view on the afterlife, since I have no solid evidence that there is or isn't a God or a heaven or anything. All I can do is use my best judgment to assume what would happen after a person dies. And by looking at this life and using it as an archetype for the afterlife, I found that in this life, unless bad things happen, one can never really respect or honor the goodness in life. So likewise, I would imagine in an afterlife, if you went to a heaven where everything was perfect all the time, that perspective would tend to fade, and it wouldn't be so great anymore. Although, I'm just going on a basis of what I know here. But still, I don't know what the end game is in this life now, which is what matters right now. There's one thing, though. Well, maybe not. It's a crazy world out there. It's a crazy world in here. I like to share my thoughts with the camera, consciously aware that it's all going onto a little memory card and then onto a memory in the computer and then maybe onto YouTube. What's the end game? You know, there's one thing that people don't seem to understand when explaining the bigger picture. How if we really are all part of a bigger being, then no part can ever see the whole. So when people try to say, well, how can you prove this is true or this is true? You really can't. Empirical evidence is all, it's, yeah, it's all personal opinion. It's all subjective. Being human means being confused. The sooner we get over that fact and realize that, the happier we'll be. So, I'll let that go. Latro.